Hello dear friends, Fifon is with you. Today I have prepared for you an interesting selection of references to the Five Nights at Freddy's game in various animated series. If you like this format, then write in the comments on what other game I can find references for. I will throw some spoilers for you. I am already preparing a video for Minecraft references. If you want such a video, subscribe to the channel and it will be released soon. Well, we're starting. In the 22nd episode of the first season of the reboot of the cartoon Powerpuff Girls, a new character named Chelsea appears. At first glance, it is a cute ordinary girl from whom nothing bad can be expected. But at the end of the series, it turns out that she is a new invention of Mojo Jojo, whose robot the task was to fix the magical unicorn into the villain's cunning paws. Even when the Super Crumbs attack Chelsea, she still remains cute and harmless. But exactly until Bubble freed the unicorn. Immediately after that, the robot showed its true appearance. Her creepy animatronic voice and no less creepy mechanical face, which exactly repeats the screamers from Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. A similar reference was found in the second episode of the third season of Duck Stories. In this episode, after making a wish with Donald, all the main characters find themselves in a typical sitcom of the 90s. Exactly what Donald wanted. No adventures, no oddities and monsters, an ordinary life, an ordinary family. But still, such a life does not suit our heroes. Having guessed what happened to them, they tried to get out of this reality. But not everything is so simple. Because of the failure, the universe turned against them. Literally every creature is trying to destroy them for absolutely no reason. At one point, Zigzag will turn into a typical sitcom situation when a guy called several girls on a date at once, and they all found out about it. But because of this boy, one of them starts to glitch. She makes exactly the same sounds as during the screamers in the first parts of the FNAF. And then with other girls trying to kill the pilot. The next Easter egg was found in the 6th episode of the 15th season of The American Dad. According to the plot, Steve and his friends go to Chuck E. Cheese. This is a real network of pizzerias with animatronics, because it was in that pizzeria that they all met there together. And today is their joint anniversary. At least the institution has been closed for a long time. The guys still decide to go to the place where they met a long time ago. But Roger got jealous of the boy for his friends, so he decides to quarrel them all and, just like a purple man, climbs into the bone of one of the animatronics and intends to kill his friends in such a terrible way. In episode 19 of the first season of Green in the City, the main characters were attacked by animal zombies. The only way to stop the monsters with red eyes was to shine a flashlight on them. This is exactly like in The Joy of Creation. Story mode. Crick needs to point the flashlight at the animals so that while they were blinded and unable to move, he could get to a safe place in the basement where the monsters would not reach him. In March 2017, a Rick and Morty shirt was released, which completely parades the FNAF series of games. According to the plot, we are shown one alien streamer named Glorp Die Blorp. His nickname is definitely a reference to the most popular gamer PewDiePie, even part of his nickname Blorp. This some kind of alien food that he eats during the entire broadcast. Our streamer is playing a game called 10 Tuesdays and Tinkles, which already refers us to Five Nights at Freddy's. And then we see that the gameplay is exactly the same as in the original. The streamer wanders around the incredibly scary rooms of the Smith family's house, where he collects the necessary items. So it continues in the flesh until he is scared by Tinkles, the Q-Cheap from the 4th episode of the 2nd season. The Glorp Diblorp simply explodes, which his audience really liked, because donations began to pour in immediately after that. In episode 15 of the 32 season of The Simpsons, we are shown a moment from Homer's youth when he worked in a pizzeria with singing animatronics. But although the main lineup of the group is not very similar to FNAF, it is worth noting that one of the robots, the Fox, is also called Foxy. During the performance, one child pours milk over the yak, because of which he has a short circuit, and he starts to glitch, threatening to kill the children. And although in the end everything ended peacefully, the scriptwriters clearly came up with the idea for this series under the influence of the popularity of FNAF. The Steven universe is full of references to different games. Naturally, the creators could not get past FNAF, and this is true, although not in the animated series itself, but in the 5th issue of the comics, behind the pearls tidying up in the house, you can see the only 3 plushies that are clearly distinguished against the background toys: a chicken, a purple bunny, and a brown fish with a hat on his head. I can't even call it a coincidence. No doubt this is a reference to Freddy, Bonnie and Chicky from FNAF. The entire third episode of the second season of Gluco Technicians also completely parades FNAF. It is impossible not to note the fact that this animated series is about a team of guys who fix glitches in various games. So each episode parades various popular games to one degree or another. Naturally, it is impossible it was to pass by FNAF because it is very popular. The action of the entire episode takes place in a pizzeria where Ralph the Bear and Bomb Fonter once performed long ago, until they were closed due to some incident. Of these two, Freddy most of all resembles the Ralph Bear, but he is dealt with pretty quickly, after which the second animatronic becomes the main villain for our heroes, who, because of the trouble, threatens to kill Nick and High Five. Now, wandering through the turbo halls of the pizzeria and the turbo workshops with dismantled animatronics, the guys are trying with all their might to escape. At one point, High Five even starts looking through the security cameras for the Fontort bomb until it scares him, just like it does in FNAF. In the animated series, Be Cool Scooby-Doo the entire episode, a Possum Pizza parodies Five Nights at Freddy's. The main characters come to an entertainment center with a pizzeria, where, according to the owner, children stopped going due to certain problems. According to the man, when he wanted to turn off the no longer usable opossum animatronic, it shorted out and began to attack the children, and so far no one has caught him. And indeed, in a few minutes, this cruel robot appears before Shaggy and Scooby-Doo and scares friends to death. Meanwhile, Fred, Daphne, and Velma discover a workshop where the owner actually collects all the animatronics, an incredibly creepy place where parts of their bodies are everywhere. At one point, you can even see something similar to Freddy himself. This episode is full of screamers and scary moments, and even though it doesn't quite reach FNAF in terms of atmosphere, of course, this episode will definitely seem scary to children. The whole third episode of the first season of the Ninja Turtles is also one huge FNAF parody. April works in a pizzeria with animatronics and often messes up at work. This time the boss gives her one last chance. The girl needs to arrange the perfect holiday for the children, otherwise she will be fired. Alone during the performance of the group, one of the animatronics breaks down and fails, so April asks Donatello to come and fix it. But he decides to improve the robot a little. One Donnie forgot about the battery, which is why during the second performance of the animatronics, the bear began to glitch again stronger. Now this bear is trying to kill all the children along the way, shouting out his typical cute phrases, and it looks really creepy. During the fight with the turtles, the bear reprograms the other animatronics into combat mode, and now the whole group is assembled. This is definitely a reference to Five Nights at Freddy's. It seems that the animated group of animatronics from the fifth episode of the second season of Gravity Falls is also a reference to FNAF. But alas, at the time of the release of the first part of FNAF, this series was already in the final stages of creating animation. That is, the entire series with animatronics was invented and voiced long before the release of the game. The animated series simply predicted the plot of Five Nights at Freddy's. This is a mere coincidence. There are many more animatronic cartoons out there, but that doesn't mean that everyone refers us to Five Nights at Freddy's. But it's undeniable that the popularity of this game has clearly contributed to the history of animation. If you like the video, like it. Forget about the subscription and the bell. I was FIFANN with you. Good luck to everyone, and goodbye to everyone.